Shelley Hofberg is a clairvoyant, medium, pet psychic, and tarot reader. She does not ask for the details about your life, but primarily relies on her gift of clairvoyance to receive the psychic insights that will be the most helpful to you about your soulmate, relationships, money concerns, and your career path. As a pet psychic, she will receive insights about what your pet or pets want you to know. As a medium, she will connect with your loved ones on the other side. Shelley Hofberg is the host of the Psychic Horizon radio show, produced by Goldilocks Productions and presented on Blog Talk Radio, Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Shelley brings together the pioneers and visionary teachers to share with you some of the most enlightening knowledge that is out there today, to expand your horizons and open the paths to higher consciousness.
Welcome to the Psychic Horizon Show. I'm your host, Psychic Shelley Hofberg, and today's special guest is Bill Foss, who is the author of Journey to the Akashic Records and the Secrets of Spiritual Success, and he will be sharing information about the Akashic Records and doing readings for you. And before I bring on Bill, I just want to make some quick announcements that on February 8th, psychic numerologist Jeremy Ryden will be my guest, and he's the author of The Quest Method, Your Intuitive Destiny Guide, and Your Soul Story, How to Create the Life You Always Wanted. And on February 15th, I have Brian Rawls, who's the host of the Magical Journey radio show, produced by Goldilocks Productions, that comes on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And on January 25, I have Terry Kennedy talking about haunting. On February 1st, I have Elijah Hernandez talking about shamanistic healing. And on February 22nd, I have Alice Leggett talking about spirit art. And on January 27th, I'll be at the School of Multidimensional Healing and Science in Irvine Psychic Fair from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I'll also be there on February 24th. On February 3rd, I'm going to be at the New Earth Expo in Huntington Beach, California. And on February 10th, I'll be at the Learning Light Foundation Psychic Fair in Anaheim, California, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'm now ready to bring on my guest, Bill Foss. Hello, Bill.
Hello, Shelley. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you. It's good to be back with you once again.
Oh, good. It's always my pleasure to have you. And, Bill, can you tell the caller something about yourself?
Well, yes, Shelley. I was primarily an artist and musician earlier on in life, and I moved into my spiritual journey and wanted to find the true meanings about the way that it all worked. That was my burning question to the universe and to God when I started to wake up. So as I put that question out, I started receiving insights and teaching through healers and teachers and other people in the community as everything was growing for me. And then I found the Akashic Records. And when I found the Akashic Records, something started to vibrate within me. It started to vibrate my energy fields, my heart, my mind, my soul, and everything was starting to come into alignment for me and say, you know this, you know all of this, and you've done it before. And from that momentary lapse of reason that continued it was just streaming. It was a very, very unique situation because I had no reference point to it. I had no reference point when I woke up. There was nobody else doing it for probably, I don't know, hundreds, if not thousands of miles from within the area that I was in. As all of the new modalities, now we're talking about right around the early 90s. So there were no new modalities that were spraying. There weren't as many healers available to people. Of course, there were healers out there, but it was more holistic health, acupuncture, massage therapy, classical, steady type of stuff. All of the new modalities hadn't cropped in yet and started to flourish. So as I started my journey, I had many questions, and I found within myself, and I found that it was an ongoing process as I received an Akashic Records reading from my teachers, and then I started to practice and go to the other side. I started to get information through practicing that I had no reference point for. And this is what occurs for many of us when we're doing the work, when we're doing this deep, subtle Akashic Records work. So that being said, no reference point to what I was seeing. I had to continue with it and continue receiving the visions. And it's been a really interesting process because as my life has unfolded, other psychics in our community and friends would comment and say, well, I feel this about you, or this is going on, or you've done this in other lives. And it was the confirmation because no one told me that. I saw it, was able to see it first. So there's a little insight there with the whole process of Akashic Records reading and on the personal self journey. And that's really what it was about for me. I wanted to know first and foremost, So I continued to practice, continued to meditate, continued to learn about energy and the universe. And lo and behold, I was so filled up with energy and information at one point that they were literally trying to tap me on the shoulder and say, would you teach? Would you like to be a teacher? And it came very naturally. So one of my teachers asked me what the Akashic Records were, and I gave her a 30-minute explanation. And from that very moment, the energy that came forth, the energy that came out of me, I knew there wasn't any grandioso, light bulbs going off or anything. I just knew in that moment that I was supposed to teach. And I said to the universe, okay, I'll do it. So from that point forth, it's been a very, it has been colorful, let me say it that way. The beginnings of my journey were traveling across the country to present for sometimes 20 people, sometimes 30, 40, 50, sometimes one or two. And you hear these stories about Wayne Dyer driving across the country in the 70s in a station wagon with a box of books in the back of his station wagon. That's pretty much what I was doing. So it was colorful, and I can look back now and say, that it's all part of the process. As things started to grow, I was able to start working with people, continue doing the classes, and guided journeys with groups and individuals into the records, which transformed into readings and personal one-on-one healings, and then also shamanic clearings and healings that was coming forth from other lifetimes. And as that continued, and let me say, as the journey continues to unfold, it's always amazing what's coming next and what's channeled for the next books, and the writing and the healings and also the groups and individuals that I work with. So it has been, that's a little bit about my journey and what's going on with what I do.
Awesome. And let's take our first caller, Bill, which is Carolyn, area code 818. Hello, Carolyn.
Hi, Shelley, and hi, Bill. How you both
Hi,
doing?
Carolyn.
Hey, I'm feeling pretty good today. Since I'm the first caller, what do I have to look forward to in 2018, Bill?
Okay. Well, Carolyn, since you're our first caller today, you've just won a new car.
Yay!
I'm kidding. I'd love to give you a new car, Carolyn. Maybe
I would love to
someday.
take it too. Okay.
And you're wondering what can you look forward to in 2018?
18.
Okay, Carolyn, let me look for you for just a moment.
Okay.
Carolyn, I feel like for you, this is going to be the year. This year is going to be the culmination of all the years preceding. Everything is finally coming into alignment for you, and I feel like it's colorful. I feel like you're finally not to say anything about your journey so far, but I want to say you're finally getting out of your own way this coming year. And I feel like everything, your scope, as I'm looking at your records, your scope looks wide open. It's very colorful, and you're very open to experiencing, oh, wow, look at that. Oh, wow, I'm doing this. And what about this? So I feel like that opens your energy in a way that allows you to receive and to interact with the external world and the movie of your life in a way that is conflict-free or way less conflict internally. Just so no separation, no self-judgment. Like I'm separate and I'm here and I live here and I go out and now I feel like I have to sort of compare myself to every single moment, every single situation where I'm at in a kindly way, but we all do that. And I feel like you're going to go to the next level where you're just going to trip over that edge and everything is going to be like, it's going to get fun and colorful for you. And and that's going to help you to feel better in the body too. Because you're kind of whatever has been ailing you, you're going to kind of forget about it from time to time.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So everything looks good. Everything looks good for you, Carolyn.
Good.
Let's see if there's anything else here. Well, I see you interacting with new folks. I see you interacting with new people as a result of this newfound childlike interaction with the external world, your world. I feel like, and that could also lead to some companionship.
Okay.
Yeah, but you'll keep it fun and light, and everything will be joyful in a kindly manner.
That'd be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it just feels good and gooder for you.
Oh, good and gooder.
Really.
I've been looking forward to it. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh,
really
okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate
and I see absolutely. And I see you at the ocean. I see you in your area. I see you going out to different areas, and I see you at the ocean as well.
Well, that's good. I'll be getting out more and going to the ocean. I love the ocean, and It's good for my body and my soul.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, thank you, Carolyn.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for giving me that information, Bill. And Shelley, do you see anything for me for 2018?
Yes, I see you taking a mediumship class and developing your mediumship abilities. I feel that you're going to be taking classes and workshops throughout the year, to expand your psychic awareness and your psychic abilities and your healing abilities. And I feel a trip coming up in July, August, that there's going to be a 2 or 3 day trip that someone's going to invite you to go someplace with them. So you're going to take a trip. And in July, August, September, I see a man coming in, a relationship. I always pick up the name Michael, so I'm still picking up the name Michael. So I see a relationship and some travel and some workshops and classes. And I see you moving this year. I'm not sure when, but by the end of the year, you would have moved. So I see a move for you. I see you selling your house. And Carolyn, thank you for calling the Psychic Horizon Show.
Yeah, thank you for taking my call. And I wish you both a good day.
Yeah, thank you, Carolyn. I hope to see you soon.
Okay. That'd be nice. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Carolyn. Bye-bye.
I'm now going to continue my interview with Bill Foss on the Akashic Records, and then we're going to take our next caller, which is area code 856. Bill, what are the Akashic Records?
Well, that's a great foundational question, Shelley. The Akashic Records are, I like to refer to it in 3 ways so people can get their practical minds around it, and they can relate that to their higher mind, which is tied into their soul, which is part of their soul and their higher self, which is also connected to God. And that is, number 1, the Akashic Records can be just right down on the playing field, can be referred to as a modern-day modality. So if you go to the psychic fair, you're going to see psychic readers, you're going to see tarot readers, you're going to see energy healers, you're going to see all of the other vendors with everything, and then you may see an Akashic Records reader. So number 1, it's a modern day modality. It's a modality just like any of the other modalities or styles that people read from or heal from energetically. Number 2, it's an ancient mystical system of divination. So it's a lost art. It's a lost art back to ancient times, medieval times, Celtic times, Scandinavian times, these ancient Nordic times, other places on the planet, Tibet, ancient India. In India, it's still alive in India as it is in other places as well, and Egypt. So these power places, Egypt, Tibet, India, these are places where you can go, and also Europe. If you go to these places and you say Akashic Records, there are a lot of people, more people than comparatively speaking. Now, we have many more people here in the U.S., but comparatively speaking, on a fraction level, more people in a given demographic area in Europe will just know, oh yeah, well, yes, we know what the Akashic Records are, because it's something that they knew that the ancients were studying. It was not looked at. It was some sort of a higher study, but it was also esoteric in that not everybody wanted to do it. Not everybody wanted to take the time to learn. So it was reserved for the people that wanted to do the higher studies of the mind. Now in Egypt, there were high priests and the orders of Melchizedek and other of these Egyptian, what we call mystery schools, they weren't calling them mystery schools. They were priestly training classes, and they would train people to go into the Akashic records. And the people in Egypt worked with teachers from India. They worked with teachers from other places, and the priests in many cultures around the world did this. They all had a network, and they traveled back and forth to other places to learn. Well, let's see what this culture knows. Let's see what that culture knows. Much different now that it still happens today, but much less. Whereas today, more people are in conflict or controversy about their brand of religion, So, and then the religious heads get together. But so back to this ancient mystical system of divination. The ancient classical study, it's a process, and it was learned and used by mystics, by healers, by wise men, by philosophers, by shamans. And then some people just found it, and they got into it, and they started practicing it. Leonardo da Vinci would be one of those such people. Now, he wasn't known per se, as far as we know, for being any great meditator, but he was a creative. And in the mind, the creativity and the imagination is overlapped. So when he went in, he was almost like a Nostradamus type of a person naturally. He would go in and he would draw and draw and draw and create things. And pretty soon, he was drawing things from the future. He was creating things. He was inventing things that never really came into invention, but he was inventing things in his own time that came through time and space. They came out of the Akashic records like flying machines, aircrafts, rocket ships, and many household things, many science tools, all kinds of things. So it's a very powerful ancient mystical system of divination. So he was divining information, he was divining technology from the Akashic records from the future, basically. And he was pulling it from the holographic bank, the creative bank of the Akashic records. So the ancient mystical system of divination. Now, the third way that I would look at the Akashic records is that it's a real place. It's an actual place, and it's in the etheric. It exists in what we call the etheric. When we step to the other side, we find that the other side and the dimensions on the other side are really more real and more living than the 3D reality. But when we get into physical form and we get in a human form with our consciousness, we think, no, this is real. I can feel myself. I hurt. I feel good. I feel tired. I feel sleep. All of these emotions. I feel happy. I feel sad. I can have things. I can taste things. I want things. There are things that I can manifest or buy or experience in this world and the interaction with others in love. And we think that this reality is more real than any of the other realities, when in fact, it's just the opposite. When we go to the other realities, when we step across that line, like Robin Williams in What Dreams May Come, when we step across that line and we're in those higher dimensions, we understand once we step over that what was I so scared of in passing, because now I'm back to my normal self. Now I'm back to my real self, and we we have energetic things that we can do on the other side. We have knowing. We have a great knowing. And so the Akashic Records is a bank that's in the higher dimensions. It's not a bank like you would go and place money in, but it's like a memory bank. It's a temple, if you will. Think of it as a temple that's etheric in nature, that's holographic, that the creative minds of individuals who are all part of the unified mind of God, the creative minds of the individuals holographically view it, sometimes in their own way. Sometimes it's in a more of a centralized way. So it can be shown to someone in more of a centralized way where, let's say, a certain percentage of people, maybe 50 people or better, would see, well, it's a grand temple or a library. Other people would see it as a different design. You know, let's say maybe a certain percentage of people would see it as a certain designed kind of a place. Some people would see it as maybe it's like an alien, some sort of a station that where different races come and interact. It was primarily put into place during the creation of the earth for all of the souls that would visit the earth. It is really all about the souls. So when you get into studying Akashic Records, you can study the process, but it's really the whole process itself is to make sure that you understand the observation of every single thing that you've been through in every single earth life, and how you can go back up and look at it in the records between lives. So it's a way station, basically, where all of the souls check in. They get their flight schedule. They get their soul's purpose, their life's path, their contracts as part of creation, and they come down and they start experiencing. And it's really, really a grand, and I want to even say monumental study for self-knowing and self-observation and knowing who we are, where we are, why we're here, and where we're going, both personally and as a race here on planet Earth and the universe. And as we learn the process and we study and practice, we go into the Akashic Records and we look at our past lives and we say, wow, this is amazing. I'm accessing hidden parts of my mind that are connected to my soul, that are connected to the records. And I go in and I look at this and I can see, and I know, I trust it because I'm seeing visions, because I asked to see visions. So it's a very, very divinely guided process by divine intelligence.
Bill, let's take our next caller, which is area code 856. Hello, 856.
Hi, this is Laura in New Jersey. If I lose
Hello.
you, I might have to call back, but I was wondering about work, if you see anything for a job.
Hi, Laura in New Jersey.
Hi.
Well, what can you do? We have several positions open.
Well, I'm looking for work in my field. I do training and development, so that's what I'm looking for.
Okay. So have you, are you working now or you're between jobs?
No, I'm in between jobs. I'm looking for something. I'd like something with more stability and permanent, though.
Okay. Are you looking to stay in your area, or are you willing to travel?
I'm willing to travel.
Okay. I am seeing something in the field for you, and it feels like it feels like I feel like it's going to be it's south of where you are. And I want to say there's one project in Virginia, and there's also another project for you to check out in Florida.
And Virginia.
So, and all in and around that area, the first hit that I got was Virginia for you.
Is it a contract or a permanent position?
It's by contract, but I think it could be the same company, so it could work into a permanent position pretty easily. The main thing is when you're manifesting, just to put it out there, for the highest good. You never want to turn down work when you're manifesting. You want to take everything that you can. So, without having to sign your name on the dotted line, So you want to keep turning that energy. And as you're putting it out to the universe, start, instead of asking, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Where do I go? I don't know. And of course you're going to tell me, well, that's why I called you, right? So, and that's all good and fine. That's part of the process. But part of your answer from me and from what I'm connected to would be that you also want to turn the tide a little bit, and you want to start manifesting from the part of your mind that says, I am good at what I do, because you are, and you have a very good work ethic, and people know that you're stable, and your record reflects that. And when you apply, one of the things is you're able to travel, and that's what some companies with what you do like to do. They like people from other places to come in because they get a fresh perspective. They get a fresh mind on the job, So you have some positives working in your favor. How soon are you looking to go to work?
Do you know when you see these jobs coming in for me?
I do see you working in June.
I can't wait until June to work.
No. I'm just saying.
Now.
I just looked. I just looked in. I didn't ask the question how soon. I just looked in and saw June. You're going to be working over the summer. I think that now can part of the work be done remotely from where you're at? Part of the book work or the computer work?
Yeah, I could do it remote.
Okay. Maybe that's what you start to do. Maybe you start to work for a company and you're working remotely. It can be as early as February.
It can
but
be.
You need to, and that's not far away. You need to just shift your gears a little bit and put it out there. I do feel East Coast for you, and it's a company that works all along the East Coast.
Do you know what kind of company or industry, anywhere I should focus?
It feels like, to me, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing like a huge construction company.
Well, I just applied for a job with a construction company in Pennsylvania, but the recruiter just called back and said that they passed on my resume. They passed on me.
That's okay.
So,
you may ask that company to refer you to another company, and you might investigate other companies, because there will be another company that I see you working for that does projects, and that's the fun part, is that you get to be in different places regionally. So I want to say like from where you're at and south of where you're at, basically, and inland a little ways, but pretty much East Coast. So it's fun in that you get to do projects that are oriented around travel, but shorter distances. So you're not going to have to travel halfway around the world, or go to the other side of Canada, something like that.
That sounds good.
It feels really good. Investigate contract work and subcontract work with East Coast construction companies. It's a big construction company, but they treat their people well, and everything is, it's not high. They're not high maintenance. It's not high emotional drama or anything. It's a good company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Shelley?
It's not the construction company though that I just applied to, because they just rejected me basically.
Yeah. Well, actually, you can ask their human resources person or department. Just say, "Can you give me some ideas of some other construction companies on the East Coast that I can apply to?" And that might give you a second reference point other than just searching openly online.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Good luck with everything. I know you're going to do well.
Thank you.
And then Laura, I feel the job is coming in February, March, that you're going to be working by April. It looks like that it's a position within 1 or 2 years that leads to more of a managerial position, a leadership position. So if within 1 or 2 years you would be promoted into management of a division within the company. So it looks like you're climbing up the career ladder in the next 1 to 2 years. And it looks like that it's going to be more money than what you made at your last job, that there's going to be a substantial improvement in your financial resources, and that you are going to relocate to take the job. The job feels out of state, possibly the East Coast, like Bill said. You would be moving out of state to take the job. So it's not in your local community, it's not in your local area, it's further away, and it looks like you're going to be finding out about the job in the next 1 to 2 weeks. And so within 1 to 2 weeks you would have found out about the job and have interviewed for the job. And it looks like from the time that you interview, it would only take a week for them to get back to you to let you know that you got the job. So it's not going to be a long process getting hired and getting the job. And it looks like that you could be moving as soon as February. That the only disadvantage is if you take the job, you have to be prepared to move rather quickly. So February is when you may be moving out of state. So it does look like, things are going to look up in your future. And Bill, how can Laura get in contact with you?
Laura, you can get in contact with me. My phone number for readings is 918-770-3810. And then my website, where you can look at the books and look at the healing page or the readings page, is Bill Foss, BILLFOSS.net. And there
okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I don't know if you watch Gaia TV, but there are 2 interviews on there too. If you do a search on Gaia, you can look up and find some more information about all of this.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And you could get a hold of me, Laura, at 818-744-5241 or go to psychichorizon.com. And thank you for calling the Psychic Horizon Show today, Laura.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you,
too,
Laura.
dear. Bye-bye. I'm now going to continue my interview with Bill Foss on the Akashic Records, and then we're going to take our next caller, which is area code 310. Can you tell us about your book, The Secrets of Spiritual Success, Bill?
Yes, Shelley. That was my first book, and the interesting thing, the really interesting thing about that book is that it was my first book. I wrote it in Sedona. I started it in 2011, and I never planned to be an author. I never planned to be a writer. I wanted to put together something that was a group of class notes to help me to teach, because there was a lot of oral teaching continually going on. And of course, I have handouts in my classes. Well, the more that I thought, if I had a more detailed version of this, then it will make teaching a little easier, because I can share more information with the students. So as I started, I walked out on my porch one night, and I was looking at the stars, and God said, I want you to write a book. Just plain and simple, just very directly. And I said, okay, well, what's in it? And he said, well, go inside and get on your computer and design the cover. So I went inside, and within, I would say, 20 to 30 minutes, I had an amazing cover. That all, as you see it on the book now, is exactly what I designed. I haven't changed it, other than editing my not so perfect spelling. But I looked at it and I thought, well, there's a book cover. Well, it was maybe another hour went by or so, and I was out on the porch again, star watching, and I said, well, God, what's in the stars? Or I said, God, what's in the book? And God said, well, go inside and write the table of contents. So I went back in and I sat down and I designed it, and I wrote table of contents, and I put 1, 2, 3, 4, and it ended up being 20. And I started channeling. What I could, the names of the chapters, and as I looked at it and got the whole design done, I looked at it and said, well, I can write about every one of these chapters. So this is, from me to you, this is from me to the listener, this is my practical experience. This is my personal experience of writing that first book. I never planned to be an author. As I looked at that table of contents and knew that I could write colorfully about everything that I was going to be channeling in the book, I then started writing the book. The book is an amazing tool. It's been used by medical doctors, by psychologists, people in the Western medical field, because they run into people that are specially gifted, or sometimes have special needs kids, or people that are seeing colors, or that are tapped into the other side, that are talking to aliens, you name it. All of these things, or they can be dealing with people that are advanced creative beings and not knowing anything about any of those dynamics with the chakras and the energy fields and the Akashic records and the other side and the soul and different incarnations and how they're connected and all on and on and on, that they're kind of lost. The way that God channeled that book is that it's like an advanced it will speak to you on the level that you need. Beginner, intermediate, advanced, in the moment, directly to you, personal, and it's I call it like a spirituality 101 quick start book and guide. It has 36 different meditation techniques and healing techniques from around the world that are all classical from different countries. And there's 20 chapters. The chapters were also, and this is another strange dynamic about it, the chapters were also channeled so they're independent of each other. So you can open up the table of contents and you could look at number 1, Know Thyself, or jump down to Finding Love and Joy, or the Spirit Guides, and it's all independent. That means you can jump around in the book and you won't lose yourself. You're not going to miss anything by not reading it from chapter 1 to chapter 20. So it's a page turner. There's a lot of good information in it. And the other thing, too, is I've had kids come to the expos and pick up a copy or bring their parents and say, Mom, Dad, I want that book. Or have parents come into the stores or order online and get a copy for their kids or for somebody in the family that's experiencing trauma that needs help. So whether somebody's going through just good old-fashioned trauma, like maybe some sort of abuse or, a great lack dynamics happening in their life, or they're opening up. They want to know about God, like I did. And this is one of the books that I wish that I could have found when I started studying. So there's it's just packed with information, and it's a really good practical. And there's also a workbook. Excuse me. As there's 36 meditation and healing techniques in the book, there's also a workbook that goes with it, and there's also a journal that go with it, and those also come in a study set.
Awesome. Well, let's take our next caller, Bill, which is area code 310. Hello, 310.
Hello. I'd like to know if you can tell me what you see in the Akashic Records that would be most helpful for me at this point in time.
And what is your name?
Cecilia.
Cecilia? All right. What do you see for Cecilia, Bill?
Hi, Cecilia.
Hi.
Well, let me look into my crystal ball. Oh, where did I put that? Oh, God. Oh, it's in my bowling bag. I'm just kidding. Cecilia, can you give me your last name, please?
Evans.
Say again?
Evans, Evans.
Okay. Where are you located at, Cecilia?
Right now on the Big Island of Kauai. I mean, on the Big Island.
Okay.
But I've only been here a week, so it's not where I reside per se, but it's where I am.
Okay. Where do you reside? Where are you from?
Originally Michigan, but for 8 years I've been traveling the world, so I don't have a specific locale.
Okay. Let me just take just a moment, Cecilia. Cecilia, so ask me your question once again. Just state it.
I was wondering if there was anything that you see in the records that would be supportive of me on my journey at this time, anything that would be good for me to know.
Absolutely. So one thing that's very important for you to know about your journey, as you have been traveling around the world, you have been visiting some of the places that you've been in past lives. And as you do that, your soul picks up remembrances or little bits and pieces of integrations of either things that you need to balance or correct in that life, or gifts, things that were positive. Maybe you were good at math in that lifetime, or maybe you were good and you had a kindly relationship in that lifetime. And as you travel to these different places, you connect back within that energy, and the Mother Earth's dynamic works with you in all of those places that you're traveling to. So that's very important work. This gives you somewhere to whiz. Like it's a different level of understanding and looking into the dynamics of where you've been. The other thing that in the short time that we have, and I can expand for you in a longer reading, but in the short time that we have, I feel that you have been studying mystical practices in other lifetimes. I feel that you were good in nature. I feel that you had a good amount of wisdom and a good amount of creativity that you used in all of your lifetimes. You also have been involved in business at a good level, and this would have been in Europe. A lot of lifetimes in Europe.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the footnote version. And then if you would like to have an hour-long reading, I would be happy to read for you. And that's where I can really go into detail and answer multiple questions for you.
Perfect.
It feels very, the Hawaiian energy is another one of those places. And interesting that you're there, because the big island of Hawaii is, we can say the Hawaiian Islands in general, but the big island of Hawaii is one of those places on the earth where it's a chakra of the earth, and it's also a portal where a lot of special souls come in from the Akashic records and come down. So while you're there, I want you to ask the question, you don't have to have had a lifetime there to be there and accessing that great portal as a special soul that practiced mysticism in other lifetimes and the creativity, which is what the Akashic records are all about. You can ask, you can just ask yourself subtly, have I had a lifetime here? Does it feel like that to me? Or am I witnessing these heightened energy dynamics that seem very cosmic and very expanded with the earth energy here?
I will do that.
Excellent. Well, enjoy your stay there, Evelyn. Cecilia.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you. Shelley,
Yes.
Is there anything that you can contribute?
Cecilia, I feel that you have very strong intuition that you have developed through a past life. And I'm feeling that there was a past life in England or France. Have you been to England or France?
I've been to both.
And did you feel any connection there when you were there?
At that time, I was not as developed with these senses, so I'm going to go back there for that reason.
Yes,
I will go back to both places.
Go back to both places, because I feel that you've had lifetimes in England and France, and that there's, that when you go there, you are going to resonate with those countries, and you are going to, have a psychic awakening and a remembrance of past experiences that are going to occur when you're there. So I feel that it's important that you go there. And I also feel that you're a healer, that you have healing abilities, that you were involved with music and healing in a past life, that you have music abilities that you could develop in this life. I feel a connection to music, and I feel a connection to healing, and I also feel a strong connection to animals. It looks like you love animals, and that you had a strong connection with animals, that you have worked with animals in a past life. And Bill, how can Cecilia get in contact with you?
Yes, Cecilia, if you would like to get in contact with me, my phone number is 918-770-3810. And the website where you can look at more of what I do is billfoss.net, BILLFOSS.net. And I would be happy to read with you or get you more information about what I was looking into for you at least.
Yes.
At least take a look at the website. Look at the website, the books and the readings, and that will give you a guidance of where to go from there.
And you could get a hold of me, Cecilia, at 818-744-5241, or go to psychichorizon.com. And thank you for calling the Psychic Horizon Show, Cecilia.
Thank you both.
You're welcome, and have a good day. I wanted to thank Bill Foss for being my special guest on the Psychic Horizon Show today. He'll be back in the future. I wanted to thank Tiffany White, Sage Woman of Goldilocks Production, for producing the Psychic Horizon Show. And I want to thank all the callers who participated in the Psychic Horizon Show. Thank you for calling, Bill.
Yes, thank you, Shelley. Thank you so much for having me on, and I look forward to seeing you out here on the California coast at some point.
Yes, I look forward to seeing you again.
All right. Sounds great. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you, and thank all the callers.
Thank you, dear. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.